Chat with Q, where everything is everything. Today's guest is Mrs. Khiante Falls. She is a working mom, a young working mother. She's an RN traveling nurse. Thank you, Khiante, for being with us
You're
today.
welcome. Hey, everybody.
I'm
Good to see
so
y'all.
excited. I'm so excited. So, Miss Khiante, please tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
I'm Khiante. I'm 29 years old. I am from Mississippi. I'm a nurse, as she said. I now live in Texas with my three kids. I
Wow.
have a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, I love it. So, we're just going to dive into the meat of things. So, you're an RN, traveling nurse. Tell me a little bit more about why you chose that career as a young mom.
So I chose to be a nurse. It's kind of like a long story. So originally, just health field wise, I chose because my grandmother, when I was younger, I would help take care of her. So I was like 7 or 8 and doing just day-to-day things for her, like checking her sugar, emptying her Foley, just because she had people that came to help her. And since I was with her, I just
Mhm,
learned how to do those things. So
mhm,
younger, I didn't imagine I would be a nurse, but I think that's why it just came so natural to me once I got older.
mhm.
And so when I was younger, I really wanted to do hair, but my mom was like, you could do that on the side, but that's not really gonna pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And so I wanted to be a pediatrician once I got in school because I was an all A student. Really wanted to be a doctor, had the capability of being a doctor, but
Mhm,
because of I came from a low income family,
mhm.
so I knew that I wanted to go into a career where I could work earlier than because as a doctor, you have to go to school for like 9 years or so before you actually start to get money from it. And
Wow.
so when I looked into nursing, I realized, okay, I could go to school even 2 years and already have a job and then continue my schooling, but I could already be working within my field. So I
Wow.
kind of made like an adult decision at that point and just decided that I could be a nurse. I can go to school to be a nurse and still go on to be a nurse practitioner at any point and make about the same, you know what I'm saying, that
Wow.
a doctor could make. So that's how I went into nursing. And once I made up my mind to do that, I pretty much just stuck with it. And
Mhm.
it all worked out the way I thought it would. So I think I chose a good career. I love it.
I love that for you. Oh my gosh, I love that for you. So let me ask you this question. What is it like being a young working mom with three small kids? Like, what are some of the obstacles that you run into?
So of course the hardest thing because I have littles is which I guess is a little more challenging now is because I work a job that's actually 5 days a week.
Oh,
Originally I had it a little better, I guess you could say, when they were younger because I work in the hospital. So shifts are like 3 days a week and I typically did nights. So
mm-hmm.
doing that, I could work my 12-hour shift. They were sleeping, they were with their dad. And then whenever I was off in the morning, then we could do like their doctor's appointments, we could eat. I could still be a part of their life, their day to day.
Mm-hmm.
But because they got older and they needed to be in school, I realized I really needed to have something a little more stable throughout the week. So the hardest thing really is getting up for work, getting them ready for school, having a full day at work where you're taking care of other people, and then
Mm-hmm.
coming home and not being able to kick your feet up and lay down and relax because you got to clock in to job number two and you got to get them situated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the most challenging part.
Mm-hmm.
But and I probably am moving ahead here, but I just had to develop a routine.
Yeah,
So that's helped me a lot.
I love it. I love it. You're amazing. You're like
Thank
the
you.
young, amazing I should give you your award right now. I'm
Oh
just
my goodness, don't. I'm not done yet. They have a long way to go.
so let me ask you, do you have like days like where you're just like stressed, overwhelmed, and you just like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna do? How do you deal with that being a young mom and having, three small ones? I know that's gotta be like very, very hard for you, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, it is, especially with them being so young, because none
Mm-hmm.
of them can go in there and like put something in the microwave and fix for themselves. And
Yeah.
of course, I'm human, so it's times when I may want a break as well.
Mm-hmm.
So really, like I said, having a routine helped me a lot because
Mm-hmm.
it just put me on kind of like a better schedule of kind of scheduling my time for myself, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing that just helps me like day to day get through the day. Asking
Mm-hmm.
for help because initially I just grew up. I was the oldest of six siblings altogether. So
Mm-hmm.
I grew up just being that person who does everything for everybody. So it
Mm-hmm.
was really hard for me to like ask for help from their dad, from other people, because I just wanted to do everything myself. So I have to know how to ask for help. I have to know how to go in my room sometimes and shut my door and not feel guilty about just taking time to myself. Because
Mm-hmm.
the worst thing I feel like I could do is take a day I'm having of stress and then put that onto them.
Mm-hmm.
So, just being self-aware, really, that's the biggest thing because a lot of times we aren't even aware that we are stressed, first of all. So being self-aware, I had postpartum with my
Mm-hmm.
first child. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that was really like where I really started taking my mental health seriously and
Mm-hmm.
making myself find that balance. And I really honestly do think that a lot of it just comes from us as women, as moms, as Black
Mm-hmm.
women, a lot of times too.
Mm-hmm.
Just not asking for help and just wanting to take everything on and wanting to be perfect. And so if we can just realize like, hey, like I don't have to be perfect. Every journey is different. Every mom's lifestyle is going to be different, but just
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how you keep your mental first. I am a woman of God, so I read my Bible. I talk to God at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, in the morning. I talk
Mm-hmm.
to my kids about God. He brings you peace, he brings you rest.
That's
So
right.
I lean on him a lot, a lot, a lot, especially now as I'm older. I don't run to other things like I kind of used to do when I was a little younger.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it is just being self-aware. Like I can't say that enough because when you don't realize that you're putting that weight on yourself, it's inevitable that you're gonna drown in it because you don't even realize it's an issue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I love the fact that you talked about the postpartum and things like that. That's very interesting that you even brought that up because I know a lot of women go through that and they don't really talk about it, but it happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And as a young mom, I give you your flowers for even bringing that up because a lot of women, they don't talk about it, but that's something that needs to be talked about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Thank you for even doing that because you didn't have
Oh,
to even talk about that. Thank you so much.
I don't know.
Um, so I guess how do you, and I guess we kind of talked about this, but so how do you balance work and home life and maybe even just having a life outside of that, like, friends and things like that? How do you balance all of
Yeah, so I do, like I said, I have a routine.
it?
So I always have been like a planner. Like I always have kept a journal. Once I graduated college and I didn't have anything to put in my journal, I was like, what am I supposed to do? Because I was used to a busy life.
Hmm.
So at the same time as giving myself grace because you do have children and some days they're gonna do what they want to do. But I had to kind of get a little more structured with my routine with bedtimes and eating and things like that, just to
Hmm.
make sure that I got some time to rest and that it wasn't at 12 o'clock at night when I'm closing my eyes. So that's one thing. And then, like I said, leaning on any type of support system you have whether it's even if you don't have a support system, if you just have friends. Like, I love my job I'm at now because I tell them all the time, out of all the jobs I've been at, I've always enjoyed all of my coworkers and had a very close
Mhm.
relationship with them as friends. But this is the
Mhm.
first job where I work with so many moms. Like,
Wow.
literally everybody is a mom, and it just helps so much just being able to, if you can't necessarily have a day to yourself, to just get with another mom and just come
Mhm.
together, watch a movie and let the kids play or go to the park. Just getting that outside time from your kids where you can have a conversation with somebody else. You just gotta squeeze it in regardless. Like, you cannot allow your life to just fall away altogether. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's hard because my main goal is to be an active part of my kids' life. Like, I don't want to go to work, come home, get them ready for bed, put them in the bed, then do it all over. I really try to
Yeah.
be involved with them,
Mhm. Mhm.
but you can be involved with your children and still,
Mhm.
make
Mhm.
it work. And I always keep in mind that it's just for a time. Of course,
Mhm.
as they get older, you're still responsible for them. But
Mhm.
everything that you're putting into them every day, I remind myself what I'm putting into them, all the effort I'm giving them, it's all gonna come back to me later on. Like, they're gonna get older and it's
Mhm.
gonna pay back off, you
Mhm.
know?
Oh my God, you're amazing. I
Stop.
know why you're amazing, but you're amazing.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love it. Is there anything that you would like to share with other young mothers, other young working moms? Anything you would like to talk to us about as far as that goes, or anything you would like to tell us as far as RN, as far as you being an RN, a nurse, anything we need to be aware of?
Mhm. Okay, so I guess as far as being a mom, I
Mhm.
just would really love to stress that never to measure your style of mothering or how you mother or your day-to-day routine with someone else's. Like, don't ever compare your situation to someone else's situation. Your
Mhm.
kids are not their kids. You are not them. The things that you have to battle are not the same as what someone else has to battle. So
Mhm.
don't ever compare. That's the worst thing in really with anything in life, but especially with mothering, because we see so much on social media, we see so much on movies, and we try to live up to these expectations of having the house look pristine, clean, having the kids in bed by 9, dinner on the table by 7 every night or whatnot.
Mhm.
Just to keep a blank slate and really create your own life, like how you want your life to be structured.
Mhm.
Being self-aware, of course, leaning on who you can lean on, taking
Mhm.
time to yourself. um, as far as being a nurse, I know a lot of times I tell a lot of people, if you're in the process of becoming a nurse, just to
Mhm.
remember, I know a lot of people say, well, I'm doing bad this year, this semester was bad. Just keep going. Don't stop, because once you become a nurse, you will forever have a job. You
Mhm.
can work in anything. I've worked in OB, I've worked in trauma, I've worked in orthopedics, I
Wow.
worked in PACU. I worked in a lot of different places. So you always will have a job. Now I'm working a 5-day a week clinic, just doing IVs. I'm an infusion nurse. So it really pays
Wow.
off. So even though semesters that are hard, if you
Mhm.
miss a semester, that's fine. Do it again. I mean, until you get that degree, you always can go back and get more degrees on top of it. And then I don't know, just
Mhm.
staying true to yourself too within the
Yeah.
field and making sure that you care for your patients the way you know that they need to be cared for, regardless of sometimes outside influences as far as who you work with, because you work with a lot of nurses. Sometimes they're tired, but
Yeah.
and they may not have the same zest as you have. But
Mhm.
you just gotta keep remembering that if that was your family member, or if that was your child or whatever field you're in, laying in that bed, or who's coming up that day, how would you feel? How would you want them to be treated? And try to kind
Mhm.
of keep that at the front of your mind, because it can get tiring. I mean, you're caring
Mhm.
for people at work, you're caring for people at home. You just
Mhm.
gotta stay encouraged. Encourage yourself.
Wow.
Encourage yourself.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that.
No.
Like this was amazing. I really and truly appreciate you coming on the show and just sharing your testimony. And I know there is more to it, but thank you for
Yeah.
sharing the bit that you did. And you know it's going to be a part two with. So I just
Oh,
let you
thank you
know.
for having me. I'm really open. If you ever want to do something about postpartum, I'm not a shy person. I truly believe
Hmm.
that everything I go through, that
Hmm.
there is a reason I went through it. It's not just for myself. So even with
Hmm.
postpartum, being a young mom, having kids at an early age, which not early, but earlier than I expected to. I was 24, but my life wasn't set up for it. If you
Yeah.
look at it in comparison, like we do not
Hmm.
want to do.
Yeah.
So anything like that, I'm open to talk about. I'm big on postpartum awareness because it was such a whammy in my life. I'm
Yeah.
always open to come on here and have like those open discussions to just spread awareness of everything. I believe in growth and helping one another. So
I love it. You're
yeah.
so smart. I love you. You're so
Thank you, girl. That's too much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for bringing me on.
Well, I do have three questions for you before you go. They're fun questions, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first one is, what is your favorite color?
My favorite color is, my mom says it's purple. That's what she said since I was a child. So I'm gonna go with purple. But if
Okay.
I go in the store, I'll probably pick something pink.
Of course you would. I mean, of course. What is your favorite food?
My favorite
Chitlins.
food. No,
Chitlins.
I do like chitlins though. I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna act like I'm not from the South, but I do love chitlins. But my favorite is tacos. I love tacos.
Really? Okay. I can see that. I can see
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Okay. So, who was your Hollywood crush, or maybe, well, yeah, who's your Hollywood crush? Do you have one?
So I'm I'm gonna be a little common here and say Tyrese, just because that's everybody's celebrity crush. But I
Okay.
really never had like that poster person to put on my wall. Like I guess I just always lived in reality.
Hey, I love it.
But yeah, I would go Tyrese for sure.
Okay. Well, tell us where we can follow you on Facebook, Instagram, or anything like that.
I'm not super active on my social media, but on Facebook you can follow me at Khiante La Princia. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure it'll be tagged in the video.
Yes.
Um, I sometimes I post TikToks, so you may see some videos on my page on there as
Mhm.
well. And then I have an Instagram. I'm not a social media person, y'all. I'm sorry. If you add me on Facebook, then that's enough for me.
I know, especially with being a mom and a
Yeah,
nurse.
I don't have time to scroll.
I know that. Well, I want to just take this time to thank you so much for coming on Chat with Q. This was amazing. You know, I love you so much. And
I love you
again,
too.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. And everyone, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Chat with Q. You guys know everything is everything. And I love you. And God bless. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.